Hello everyone, my name is Kid Lee and welcome to my year in review for Star Wars The Old Republic. Over the last couple of years, it's been really interesting listening to people who have said that SWTOR is their first MMO or that it's their favorite game of all time. I look back and I think, back in 2003 when the old Star Wars Galaxies came out, that's a game that didn't have the best graphics, didn't have the best gameplay, and overall had quite a few issues with the game itself. And some of that is now translating over to SWTOR as well. It's a game that it's not perfect, it's got a fair amount of issues. The development is definitely slower than what I think a lot of people would want it to be, yet it's still some people's favorite game of all time. So here in this video, I want to do a little bit of a recap of everything we got to see in 2017 and maybe talk a little bit about where this game is going to be heading for 2018. I've gone ahead and went through all the patch notes and picked out all the key features that were released in 2017. So let's go ahead and take a look at those right now. The year kicked off with Game Update 5.1. That was on January 23rd. 5.1 added the new chapters, the Master Mode chapters. Also added some new uprisings and also had some fixes to the Galactic Command gearing system. And that's going to be sort of a theme for 2017, which is fixing that Galactic Command gearing system. We then move on to Game Update 5.2, which was on 4/18, April 14th. Where they introduced the new Iocath storyline. We also got the first boss from the new operation. We also got the new galaxy map, additional Galactic Command gearing changes, and then the Master Mode uprisings. We then move on to July 11th for Game Update 5.3, where they introduced the Manon Stronghold, which is probably the most requested stronghold of all time, and we also got the second boss in the new operation. So that right there, January with 5.1, April with 5.2, July with 5.3, that's half the year right there. We then move on to August 22nd with 5.4. We got the new Flashpoint Crisis on Umbara. We then got the surprise train mobile base, which was really cool. I think when Manon came out, most people were like, well, there's our one stronghold for the year. And then they ended up rapid firing out that second one, which was really, really cool. Next up was November 8th, which was 5.5.1, which was the United Forces, the big server mergers, which I think for the most part, everybody's happy with. There are definitely some who were not happy with it, the RP community in particular, but I think since then the RP community has definitely found their place within the game. A couple of smaller things that were worth mentioning where that free-to-plays got 4 characters per server up from 2, and then preferred is 12 up from 6. Again, that's a smaller thing, but for free-to-play in particular, going from 2 to 4, that's actually a pretty big deal. Then on November 28th, which is 5.6, we got Traders Among the Chiss, new Flashpoint, the third boss in the operation, and then the new Galactic Starfighter map. Then rounding out the year on 12/12 with 5.6.1 was the slightly delayed Warzone. But that right there, ladies and gentlemen, were all the key features that got added in 2017. Now, of course, in between those dates, there were lots of little patches where they did some minor stuff. And of course, you know, class balance is always an ongoing thing. That's something that's not even really worth mentioning because every single MMO, all year long, they're always doing class balance changes. I always find it a little bit puzzling on how no MMO seems like they can ever get it right. Kind of weird, but whatever. But when looking at this list on paper, I just thought it was really interesting at sort of the lack of content that was actually put into the game for 2017. Now, here's where I want to throw out a little bit of a theory for you. I don't have any concrete info on this. It's just a little bit of a theory I have based on all the information that I have. And that is that over the last 6 years of Star Wars The Old Republic, I feel like the core dev team who works on this game has been whittled down over time to where now they only have a small group working on the game, and then when they need help, they can reach out to the rest of EA. But I think it's a classic example of, at the start of 2017, they had a bunch of goals that they set, and by the end of 2017, they were not able to meet some of their own goals, the operation being one of them. They said, oh yeah, we'll have that operation done this year, no problem, and it didn't happen. We still have 2 bosses for 2018. Now, we also had a change of the guard happen, so to speak, and we now have Keith, who is basically running things. I don't think anything that was put into the game in 2017 was really Keith's decision. I think things were already set in motion, and 2018 will be the year of Keith, so we'll really get to see what he is able to bring to the table. Overall, I think the developers that do work on this game are very passionate about the game themselves. You know, Musco and Boyd and Keith and all of the developers. They really want to do right by this game, but I think in many cases, EA and their business decisions are holding them back. I know a lot of people really criticize this game, and I think to a certain degree, it's not warranted because the developers just simply do not have the time, money, and resources to get done what they need to get done. So I really want to push that idea moving forward. That being said, I think the developers do have full control over a great many things that they really need to improve upon in 2018. One example is their live streaming schedule. They need to be doing, at a bare minimum, of 2 live streams a month where they sit there and do nothing but Q&A for at least an hour, if not more. I mean, live streaming is one of the easiest things that a developer can do to really show that they are part of the community, that they're reaching out to the community, and there's so much that they can do with that. I mean, even if there's no, news to announce, there's still the ability to sit there in front of the camera and talk with the community. That is one of the greatest things that these guys can do to really reach out and continue to build things. Another thing that BioWare has full control of that they failed to fully utilize in 2017 was the influencer program. This is something that I've been very vocal about that they have completely underutilized. So let's go back a couple of years when this game was either still in development or had just come out. One of the things that really made my channel what it was the ability to go onto the test server, record whatever I want, then release it. And I got to do so many previews that way, whether it was new content, new vendors, new areas in the game, whatever. Even though the test server was open, probably 90-95% of the SWTOR population doesn't want to bother with it. They would rather go to somebody's YouTube channel and simply see what is coming up in a future patch. That is something that they took away from us, and I don't totally understand why. Not so much the fact that it's an open test server. We still have the closed test server, which the influencers have access to like 90% of the time. But for whatever reason, they don't want us to film the upcoming content, even in a preview mode, like what we used to do. They just don't want us doing that. And it's simple stuff too. Like I just mentioned, oh, here's a new vendor on the fleet. Let me film the vendor. Here's what's on it so I can show you what's coming. The new galaxy map was a perfect example. It's like, there's a new galaxy map coming. Here it is. Here's how you use it. Here's the sectors. Here's how you can like bounce around now. And they just, for whatever reason, they don't want to give us access to that. They have to give us access to that once again. That is an incredible way for us to build hype for the game, for the new content that is coming out, when they themselves cannot build their own hype. Now, one thing they were able to let us do earlier in the year is we were able to go on there and film, the first 2 raid bosses. Again, the third one, we never got the opportunity to do so. Why? I do not understand. That's one thing that is absolutely baffling me. Why create this group of influencers and then not use them to hype up the game? I don't know. But that is maybe one of the biggest things, at least from where I sit, one of the biggest things that they need to improve on for 2018. Just unleash the shackles and let us do whatever we want within a certain degree, right? I mean, if they want to do something like, I have an idea, and I just go to Musco and say, here's an idea, can I do this? And then he can just say yes or no. That easy. I mean, I should back up and say we do have that to a certain degree, but it's just the answer is like no every time. But it goes back to that simple thing which I was just talking about. But just overall, use the resources that you have, use the influencers. Don't let us just sit here not doing anything for you. We can help you out. Let us do that. Let us do what we were able to do a couple of years ago, and across the board, I think everybody's just going to be a lot happier. As we look forward to 2018, we know that they've already announced an expansion. It sounds like they were going to try and get that expansion out in the spring at some point, but I'm at the point now where I just want them to have quality content. Don't work off of a schedule and say, oh, we have to have it released, here and here and here and here. We got to have these dates. These are solid dates. No, don't do that. If you have a piece of content, wait until it's fully done, as bug-free as possible, then release it. I know EA is all about their schedule, but it's time to get rid of that nonsense and just, as you're working on content, if it takes this long to get it done, then that's how long it takes to get done. If you need extra time to work on it, then here's extra time. Release it when it's done. That is going to be a big thing for 2018. We'll see what this expansion has. I think what the game really, really needs is we need another full planet. Tatooine, Alderaan, another full planet. We need a planetary story. We need side quests. And we need a continuation of the galactic story. Release 1 full planet, 2 full planets, datacrons, flashpoints on the planets. That is probably the biggest thing that we need in this game. Of course, finish your operation, immediately start on the second operation for the year, new PvP maps, and then you got to bring us something new. Bring us what I really, really want, and that is the PvE Galactic Starfighter mode. Whether it's in Flashpoint form, Operation form, Free form, that is Star Wars. We want PvE Galactic Starfighter in one form or another. But I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to end my rambling rant video for our year in review for 2017. Of course, I want to know what you guys have to say about all this. What do you think about 2017, and what are your predictions for 2018? Leave a comment down below this video. But yep, that'll go ahead and do it for this one. Of course, if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. Thank you all so much for watching. And with that being said, everybody keep playing and have fun.